Hey guys, it's Kaye, my review for Anna and the Apocalypse. And what Anna and the Apocalypse is essentially about is we center on the aforementioned Anna, and she and all her friends are typical high school students that, they're trying to get through their senior year of high school, but they're also very much preoccupied by Christmas, and because they're so preoccupied, they have no idea that unbeknownst to them, there is a very severe outbreak of a zombie apocalypse that is going on, and very quickly, they are thrusted into this situation, and throughout the rest of the film, they have to figure out what they need to do to survive, and this is all done also in the style of a musical, and that's really all I'm going to say. So, Anna and the Apocalypse, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was pretty hyped for this movie. I mean, considering all the marketing, the way it was being handled, this looked like one of the most creative and different films of the entire year. We've seen a lot of zombie apocalypse films, but not many of them are Christmas films, and they're certainly not usually musicals. So, just hearing those three sort of things were going to be combined, and it was going to be like this hybrid of like Edgar Wright and maybe like some sort of musical or something. I mean, the possibilities really were endless here, and I was very excited to see how this was going to turn out. I actually watched the short film that preceded this, the feature film before this, actually, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But I will say right now, and the Apocalypse, while it is a much different movie than I was expecting, this is still a really damn good time. I really enjoyed and the Apocalypse a lot. I think this is a very creative film that is a little bit more nuanced than I was expecting, but we're just getting to right now, starting off with the cast. And here's the thing, right off the bat, there really isn't much I can say in terms of like, oh, this is something that's going to draw an audience in, because I'm wondering for a while, this movie came to many theaters, but I didn't see any commercials on TV or nothing like that, and it honestly kind of makes sense, because with a cast like this that is all virtually unknowns, there really isn't that great of a way to market this movie, but I will say that the cast absolutely brings it here. Every single one of these actors really all do a great job, but I will say right now, the best of the young ones is Elle Hunt. She was fantastic in this role as Anna. Anna, she starts off, and you can see that she kind of has this dilemma where she doesn't want to go to college, but she also she wants to be a world traveler, and you can see she's dealing with that. But the arc that she ends up going through, I thought was very well done. I thought she seemed like she was having a lot of fun in this role, and I can just tell you right now, from what I've seen, she is going to be a star after this movie. I really want to see her in a lot more things after this. I think she definitely has a lot of talent, and I really loved what she did here. She was very funny, she was very likable, and I really did like not just her character, but her performance. I thought was really well done here. Someone else I really like, though, is Malcolm Cummings, who plays her best friend, John, and his character we'll get to a little bit later, but he's so great in this role. He's a lot of fun to watch. He pretty much is her best friend in this film, and their relationship, there's just something really endearing and genuine about it, and you really can get behind it, and the two of them just have such great chemistry, and I really liked what he did here as well. All the other young actors here all give really good performances. Sarah Swire is really good. Christopher Leveaux, Ben Wiggins, Marli Sue, all of them are really great. However, I do want to zero in on Kaye in this movie, who, holy shit, I mean, look, this is every sort of stereotypical, type of principal character that you've seen before. He's the headmaster of their private school, and he's very strict, he's very by the book. You've seen this character 1,000 times, but oh my god, Kaye just relishes this character. He is having the time of his life playing this character, hamming it up as much as he possibly can, and I just loved every minute of it. I honestly could have watched a whole movie just watching him, because he's so great in this role. I loved what he did here, and no, he's not playing the most original character or anything, but he was just so great here. I love what he did. I thought he was a lot of fun to watch, and out of everyone, I think he for sure seemed like he was having the most fun, and I really loved what he did in this film. Really, the entire cast, I think, just does a really great job of embracing this film. You could tell this was something they all were very much enjoying, and I really enjoyed the cast here a lot. But now I really want to get to the directing and the writing, because I will say, going into this film, I was expecting something on the level of, like, Shaun of the Dead. It seemed very Edgar Wright-y to me, where it was going to be a film that was very tongue-in-cheek, and it was going to be a film that doesn't take itself too seriously. And while that is the case, it's not really like an Edgar Wright film. I think it is unjustifiably being compared to that. And look, like I said, I compared it to that at first, but that's really not what this film is. It really is the perfect blend of both a dramedy, a musical, but also a horror movie. It really is those three things, and it embraces each one of them. And never does it feel like it is being upended by one of these genres, or that it is just randomly starting to turn darker. Like, no, there are moments where it's really funny. There are a lot of funny moments throughout this, and there are things that I definitely did enjoy a lot. But the film is a lot more serious than I was expecting as well. There's a lot of great serious moments here, and I think John McPhail, he did a very good job with directing this. And, you know, obviously it's bittersweet, because if you don't know, the person who actually wrote the original short film, which is what basically gave this a feature film, he's no longer with us, unfortunately. So he was not behind this, and it's very unfortunate. There is like in memory thing of him in the credits and things like that, but it's sad because, you know, obviously this was his original vision, and seeing someone else try to replicate that, you know, they did something decidedly different than the original short film, and I think for the most part it worked really well. I really enjoyed the directing here. I thought it was definitely very well done. But I do want to get into the writing for this film, because that was the thing I was actually the most worried about. As much as I was looking forward to this film, which, like I said, to me this looked like one of the most entertaining films of the year, I was really worried that this was going to be very style over substance. And I'm happy to say that it's really not. This actually does have a really good story to it. In fact, every single one of these characters I really did enjoy a lot. They all have very interesting sort of backgrounds to them. They're all dealing with very personal dilemmas, and the film does a good job with getting us invested in these characters before the apocalypse, and showing who they are, and showing the sort of things they're dealing with. So when the apocalypse actually starts, and shit is going down, and people are getting killed, we actually feel for these characters, and I think they did a really good job with that overall. That being said, though, as much as I did enjoy these characters towards the end of the movie, some of them, it actually did take a little while for me to get invested in them. For a while, a lot of these characters did feel kind of one note, and I was like, all right, when is there going to be just a little bit more? And thankfully, once things start to get a lot more dramatic and emotional, that's when certain revelations come out, and I thought these characters became a lot more interesting after that. It wasn't that I wasn't enjoying them, because I was, but I just wanted a little bit more from a substance perspective, and thankfully, the film does eventually go there, and I think they did a really good job with it overall. However, there still were two characters, and really only two, that I felt could have had a little bit more. One especially, I thought was very much pushed to the background. You know, they're in the movie a lot at first, and then we don't see them for a long time, and when they come back, I was thinking, okay, maybe we'll get something else with this character, and it just never really happened, and I thought that maybe the film, would it focused more on this character, the film could have been even better, because like I said, I did think for the most part, a lot of these characters were very interesting, but there was one that I just felt was a little bit one note, and I just wanted just a little bit more from overall. However, another thing this film embraces very well is its dramatic irony, which is largely where a lot of the comedy comes from. I mean, constantly throughout the film, you can tell that there's something brewing. You can tell that there definitely is some sort of apocalypse happening, but they just flat out ignore it because it's not important to them in the moment. They're going about their daily lives, and like I said, they're just too distracted by other things that are going on. I thought that was actually a really good way of foreshadowing what was really going to happen, because you're just kind of waiting for them to be thrown into it, and once they're thrown into it, the comedy doesn't go away. It's still a very entertaining movie. Two characters especially I really enjoyed, you know, Anna's best friend and this other character that I thought was just a lot of fun to watch, and their banter throughout the film, them going back and forth. There's literally a whole scene where they're talking about which celebrities have possibly turned or not, and it's really funny. They did a really good job with keeping you entertained, and I thought the comedy, for the most part, worked really well here. But like I said, it really is that drama that really did surprise me. I was surprised by how grounded this film really is, especially when it comes to the character of Anna. I mean, what she's dealing with, it is a very real situation. It's one of those things where you can tell no one is really on her side. Everyone wants her to go to college, but she wants to be this world traveler, and it gets you invested in that character really well, and I think they did a really good job with setting that up overall. Something else the film does play into very well are a lot of tropes that go on within these films. I mean, there is one recurring gag with this one couple that just, they can't keep their hands off each other. They're constantly making out. They're constantly talking together. They just can't be apart. And at first it's really silly, but eventually it does get really serious once the apocalypse is thrown into it. And certain things like that, that I thought were really well done in this film. Something that would start off as a joke suddenly actually became serious. And again, it didn't feel jarring to me. I thought for the most part it worked really well, and I really did like what they ended up doing there. Then the only other flaw that I really do have in terms of writing is that while it does take a while for them to get to the apocalypse stuff, I actually thought they could have spent just a little bit more time there. I would have wanted just a little bit more time to get invested in some of these characters. Maybe add like 20 or 30 minutes to this story, and I think it could have been even better. Because again, I still enjoyed it, but I just thought it was a little too short at points, and there were some things we could have dived into just a little bit more, and I think it would have benefited the film overall. Also, this is a bit of a nitpick, but throughout most of the movie, the film is able to project a sense of tension without giving a lot of obvious scares, like jump scares and things like that. But right as the movie ends, and I literally mean the final scene, it's a really good final scene. I was enjoying it. They have this really lame jump scare at the end, and I thought it was really cheap. I don't know why I need to be there, and I really did not enjoy it. But again, it's a nitpick. It's not really something that ruins the movie for me. It's just something that I really think they could have cut out overall. But for the most part, the writing's really good here. It's very sharp, it's very clever, and I really did enjoy it a lot. The cinematography in this film is actually really good, and for a film that clearly did not have that much of a budget, it really doesn't show here. The kills especially, I thought were very well done. They're very effective. The blood doesn't look fake at all. The makeup on the zombies were really good, and I enjoyed the cinematography a lot here. It's very well done. There's a lot of cool locations they go into, and there's a lot of great kills as well. A lot of fun stuff they do with the kills. One in a bowling alley especially that I just really loved. I couldn't get enough of that scene. And there's a lot of really fun, entertaining kills like that. The score in this film, which is probably the biggest... However, the thing that I think most people are going to take issue with in this film is the score. How is that factored in this film? Does it work? Does it not work? And here's the thing. I think for the most part it does work, but I can understand if people are let down by it because the movie makes you think that this is all kind of a joke, that they're making fun of musicals, and while they are to a point, especially in one brilliant number called Turning My Life Around, which I just loved so much, I thought it was just such another great example of the movie's dramatic irony, which, like I said, was where a lot of the comedy comes from. A lot of it they do actually take seriously, and it is used for, a lot of character advancement, and I thought it actually worked really well. I will admit there were some duds here and there. Not every single song is, hits like bullseye, but the ones that are great are really, really great. There are some that I already can't stop listening to. I mean, Hollywood Ending, Soldier of War, songs like that, I think are definitely going to be stuck in your head for a while. Also, I have to say, there is this Also, there is this one Christmas song that appears in this movie, and you guys know the classic scene from Mean Girls with, you know, all of the girls in, like, skimpy outfits, and they're singing Jingle Bells in that very seductive type tone. There's actually a scene just like that in Anna the Apocalypse, and it was hilarious. It was not something that I was expecting, but I thought it actually did work really well. The Christmas element is not a huge part of this movie, but that is one of the things that I think they actually took a lot of advantage of, and I really did enjoy that a lot. And then the editing in this film, I thought overall was very good as well. The film is definitely very well edited. I was into it for the most part, and like I said, if maybe they could have made it a little bit longer, but other than that, I really did enjoy it. And the Apocalypse is just a very entertaining film. I enjoyed this film a lot. It was definitely a little bit more genuine than I was expecting at points. It has some really great character arcs, some really great performances from the entire cast, especially Ella Hunt and Paul Kaye. I really enjoyed them a lot here. The cinematography is really great. It's got a really catchy soundtrack. It just really does have everything you want in a very entertaining movie that I really don't think is getting enough attention. I really enjoyed Anna the Apocalypse a lot, and I'm definitely going to give Anna the Apocalypse overall a B+. And going back to my amazing dumbassery, somehow when I finished this review, I forgot to actually do the outro, so I'm just going to say it right now. That's it for my review of Anna the Apocalypse. If you guys have seen this movie, let me know what you thought of it. Love to hear your thoughts on it. We'll see you guys in my next video, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye. 'Cause no one ever tells you when you're young. Love's not like the bird.